Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On this episode, we're going to be talking about NXT from last night. We're also going to be talking about WWE morale, possibly in the dumpster again. But first, it's on our thumbnail. Oh, man, what a big deal this is. Rampage, AEW Rampage. The ratings for it came in late yesterday. And while SmackDown on a Friday more or less held steady, AEW's Rampage, the special tip-off episode for the All-Star weekend, garnered the lowest viewership in the show's history, averaging 287,000 viewers and finishing 59th in that all-important 18 to 49 demo with a .07. Rampage shifted times, of course, to accommodate NBA All-Star Weekend, airing at 7 p.m. rather than 10. But that can't account solely for the show's massive drop. This year's edition of Rampage Slam Dunk was down 39% in total viewership and 65% in the 18 to 49 demo compared to last year. So that begs the question, Larson. At this point, can Rampage be saved? Should AEW and Warner Discovery cancel it and start over with AEW Dynamite's third hour?
Can it be saved? I don't know. Should they cancel it? They should consider it, rebrand it, start over.
Yeah.
It's a terrible time spot. 10 o'clock time spot's terrible. Mm-hmm. And Rampage doesn't have an identity. Yeah. It's been used at various points as a third hour of Dynamite, kind of like a Ring of Honor TV pilot. There's those few weeks where like 90% of what happened on Rampage was Ring of Honor focused.
Yeah, it was a lot of Ring of Honor.
It's been a lot of things, but it hasn't been one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to decide what Rampage is going to be. Is going to be an extension of Dynamite? Well, if that's the case, then you got to tell more stories on that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think at this juncture it's going to be a de facto pilot for Ring of Honor because they already got those TV tapings happening, I think, this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You got to decide what it's going to be. And once you decide that, then you got to decide what approach you're going to take to telling stories in that show. And then you got to lobby Warner Discovery to get yourself a better time spot.
Yeah, that's all a pretty tall task. Here's the thing. This is the interesting thing, especially when you talk about the identity of Rampage. Well, when Rampage started, we all kind of knew what the identity was supposed to be. What the mission statement seemed to be is that we have such a big roster, and we've got all these stories we want to tell. We need that third hour of Dynamite, essentially, to do so. Well, it turns out they kind of don't. The Rampage is not necessary. And you know how I know is because even Dynamite sometimes doesn't feel necessary. Have you seen tonight's card?
Yeah.
It feels like a 2-hour Rampage. And we were talking about that last week. We got Mox versus Uno. We've got, I think, Wheeler Yuta versus Orange Cassidy. We've got the Revolution. I'm actually looking forward to this Revolution Tag Team Battle Royal.
Yeah, that's probably the thing I'm looking forward to most. Yeah,
that's happening. And I forget what else is going on.
Yeah, it hardly seems like we're a week and a half away from one of their pay-per-views.
Right. Yeah, I know.
The last two Dynamites.
Yeah.
We've talked endlessly about the storytelling issues going on in AEW right now. It's been a problem for, I don't know, 8-10 months. Serious problem.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, ever since September.
But it is noticeably worse over the past month or two since the last pay-per-view. The build to this pay-per-view has basically been the most formulaic build. I mean, there have been hints of decent stories. The Outsiders angle with the women's division has been at least an interesting seed of an idea, even if the actual execution hasn't really been all that stellar or focused. I appreciated aspects of the Guns and the Acclaimed. I thought some of that stuff was pretty good. I was actually, I kind of appreciated the title change simply because I know what it's leading to. It's the Acclaimed getting those titles back at Revolution, because what else are they going to do?
Yeah.
So there's been aspects. I mean, there's been parts of Jeff Jarrett's group that I've found entertaining, but at no point has there really been stories told. And that's the thing. If you need a third hour of TV, that's fine because you want to tell all these stories, but it's not necessary. And what happens when something's not necessary? you just let it flounder.
Yeah, you don't use it really. You don't watch it live, or if you do watch it, you watch it DVR, and then you fast forward through the stuff you're not that interested in. It seems like right now AEW, they have a lot of complementary stories, but they don't have the A story.
Yeah.
I think they want MJF and Danielson to be the A story, but for whatever reason, that feud hasn't been made personal enough to make it feel like the A story.
Well, it's also on its own island. That's the thing. It's like your A story needs to affect a lot of people.
Yeah,
and it
also
doesn't.
It feels formulaic in that it's the same pattern that MJF's other feuds have adhered to for the most part.
Yeah,
the challenger has to go through a number of obstacles to earn the match against MJF. Of course, the challenger, Danielson in this case, goes through those obstacles like we know what's going to happen. There's no drama to it. There's no tension.
Yeah,
I mean, and Danielson's one of the best wrestlers in the world, so the matches have been great. Nobody's going to win.
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know, as you said, it's fairly formulaic, predictable. It doesn't feel like there's been a whole lot of genuine thought into giving us some twists and turns to keep us guessing a little bit.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff to like in the Hangman Mox feud.
Yeah.
There's a story there. But again, it's nothing going on now feels like an A story.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And there's champions with no challengers right now.
And here's the thing, dude, is that a new time slot, a new channel, CM Punk, none of that's going to change anything. It really isn't. I know a lot of people are saying, well, they need to bring CM Punk back because of ratings. Guess what? That honeymoon will last all of 3 weeks before you will see everything settle back into where it was, because it's the stories that matter. And if he's not in a story, or maybe he'll be booking his own stories and there'll be something halfway interesting because he is a creative guy, then maybe that'll happen. If we'll get something along the lines of a CM Punk versus MJF, then people say, oh, AEW's been rejuvenated because we have that. And sometimes there is, sort of a domino effect where if there's something really good at the jump or in the A story, then it sort of trickles into the rest of the programming. But they need more, like, I don't know, things need to feel so much less segmented. That's something that you had pointed out very specifically early on in AEW, is that everything it felt jointed.
Part of one world, yeah.
Yeah, part of one world, exactly. And it's like now it's completely and totally just everything is just boom, 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 boom. And there's really not a lot of connectivity there.
Not really, no. It's just not, a lot of creative endeavors go through ebbs and flows, and there's times when shows, not just in wrestling, but a lot of TV shows are hitting on all cylinders creatively, and then sometimes it just doesn't happen. It's all cyclical. I get that, but
but the bottom line is they need a showrunner. They need a showrunner. It's like, I'm sorry, but Tony Khan does too many things. It's obvious as day.
Yeah.
He does too many things.
Yeah.
And you look right now at Triple H and how, he's working with WWE, and he's a showrunner, and there's a difference. And I know part of Vince's issues were he was out of touch and he's old, but also Vince did so many more things than Triple H did, that dedicating himself to the creative of the show, in addition to everything else, obviously was a detriment to the creative of the show. We'd get endless rematches, redundancies, things that didn't make any sense, points that were brought up and dropped. Well, we see that in AEW now. I mean, not the rematch and stuff or the redundancies, but the story beats that are brought up, they're dropped.
There's some redundancies in this Stark's Jericho Appreciation Society thing.
Yeah, we're starting to see that even.
Yeah.
It's a kind of thing the dude needs. Clearly, he needs a showrunner, and until that happens, I don't think it's going to get any better. I really don't.
No, and I wonder part of it too is the first couple of years of AEW. I mean, it's essentially, especially after Tony Khan kind of took over the book. I wonder if he had, I don't know how old he is, 30 years of ideas he had, wanting to see if he could implement them in practice in the wrestling world. Well, maybe he did some of those things. Maybe some of these stories he had ideas for, or something he's going back for a long time. We see this with bands where they have, they spend so much energy and so much passion into crafting their first album or two, and they go through the first, couple dozen songs they ever wrote. And those are songs they've been playing over and over and over and over and over again. Before they got signed, before they got record deal. Well, that second or third album, when you got to come up with brand new stuff that you haven't been working on for years and years and years, sometimes it just isn't the same.
And I feel like a broken record saying this, but I remember distinctly years ago thinking to myself, and I'm probably vocalizing on the show, it's one thing to be new. You got the honeymoon period, a bunch of fresh matchups, excitement. You go through a phase where you're signing a bunch because, you know, at the same time WWE was releasing a ton of people. You got a lot of people you're signing. Those are crutches, you know. And not to say there wasn't good stuff in there. There was plenty of really good storytelling in AEW during those years as well. But the question becomes, what happens year 3? What happens year 4? Week to week to week. You're booking 3 hours of TV. Plus, he's probably also the guy booking Dark and Elevation, all that kind of stuff. Plus, he's doing everything else, buying Ring of Honor, setting that up.
Yeah.
The week,
booking all those shows. Yeah.
The focus needs to be on the week to week to week cable television that we get, and everything else will fall into place. If you need to hire other people to do the other stuff, then do that. But the core of your business is getting people to tune in to your weekly cable television. And until he does that, it's going to keep on floundering. It's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
But not everything is great in WWE either, because ever since Vince McMahon resigned as CEO and creative head of WWE last summer, there have been numerous reports that backstage morale had improved significantly. But now that Vince is back as executive chairman and a sale of the company seemingly is on the horizon, has morale taken a hit? According to PW Insider, to a degree, kind of. PW Insider is reporting that there has been some waning morale among some who work backstage for the company. Well, PW Insider pointed out that morale isn't as bad as it used to be. Some are on eggshells about potential changes that could occur if and when the company is sold. I've often said, be appreciative of the time we have now in 2023 with Triple H in charge, because come summertime, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Same.
And he could be gone. I hope not. I really hope not. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, PW Insider was clear that it wasn't so much talent that was feeling like they had to walk on eggshells, but more so employees who work backstage. And how many times have we seen a company get bought, and what's one of the first things that the buying company does? Clean house, make a lot of changes, lay people off. And so I would get the hesitancy backstage from people who are like, oh man, if we get bought, what does that mean for my job? What does it mean for my department? That makes all the sense. We're going to get too much into it because there's not a lot of details, but Sean Ross Sapp, right before we started, had a tweet that he heard from somebody in W Talent who thought that Vince was working on creative again. We'll probably talk more about that tomorrow, assuming there's more details. But of course, I think it was after Elimination Chamber, Meltzer made some comment about Vince having some say in the Bloodline storyline.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I mean, if it starts to come to light that Vince is being more involved in the creative end of things, there's a possibility there that morale amongst talent could take a hit. But it remains to be seen. It depends how Vince's ideas are implemented and how often they are implemented, or does it seem like that Vince has more sway than he had, prior to shortly after he stepped down. I feel like there's a lot of people there that are very wary of the idea of Vince assuming any sort of role in creative. Yeah. And they might think worst case scenario, should they get the idea that's happening again. But
yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing where it's up and down. I mean, yeah, Meltzer had already mentioned that Vince was involved in the Bloodline storyline, and you and I talked about this a little bit before we went live today, or before even the pre-show. And there are, as with everything, there are sort of, I guess, levels of how good or bad this could be. I mean, as we've noted in the past, it's not like everything Vince McMahon did was poison, was absolute garbage. There were a lot of, even in the last 5 years, it was fairly obvious. This is coming up on 5 years ago now that that was, Kofi Mania seems like it was yesterday. But it was obvious that Vince McMahon was the guy who had his fingerprints all over Kofi Mania, one of the more memorable joyous occasions and storylines back at WrestleMania in 2019. And he has had plenty of things. The thing about Vince, like I just mentioned about Tony Khan, is that seemingly with Vince, the fact that he was so old, and you could claim out of touch, but also he was doing so many other things that on top of that, being there week to week doing cable TV, then things were going to fall through the cracks, and they did so in a major way. If Vince is there sort of, plotting broad strokes about A storylines with Triple H, and Triple H is the guy implementing them, and all the B stories and everything else are sort of like he's on that stuff. This might be much ado about nothing. It might not be terrible. If Vince eventually just comes back to Gorilla and fires Triple H, then it's going to be a shit show. It's going to be, don't get me wrong, it's going to be god awful. But I don't think it's going to be a sky is falling situation just because he's like, yeah, man, we should roll with Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania and to tell some more good stories with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso and Kevin. Like that's not. So far what we've seen has been pretty damn good. So
yeah, it's been a marked improvement. That's for sure. And even if it's just the perception by some backstage that he's a part of things might be enough to make them wary whether in practice is actually happening, just based on previous experience. And that's not to say it's the sky is falling type scenario, but if people catch wind, Vince is starting to get a little more involved here and there, people might just bring their guard back up and not be so relaxed.
Well, I think in general, like that's totally true, but also the sale is the big thing. Also, it's like nobody. What's going to happen?
No one knows what's going to happen. With that,
exactly. Yeah. So, be interesting to see if he gets $9 billion.
$9 billion.
Before we get to NXT, wanted to point out number one, no Smash Zone tomorrow because I'm going to a Kings game with my niece. And then we've got right now available for channel members and YouTube patrons of $5 and up our ECW Extreme
Championship
Wrestling Hardcore TV, when ECW branded themselves Extreme TV episode review, retro review, is available right now. I think we're going to put it up on the main channel in 2 weeks of the first weekend of March. No, that's actually Revolution. So it'll be maybe I'll do it this weekend. I don't know. But you can check it out right now. And then we're also going to put up a poll to determine what the next retro review for March is going to be this Friday on Overrun. I have an idea. I got to run it by you first before I actually mention it. But we've also got Numbers Don't Lie on the Hardys on our bonus episode. That happens on Friday. We've had a couple of new channel members as well. Let's see if I still have them up on the thing here. I do. Jonathan Vieira and Lucci Club Studios. I believe they joined yesterday, so thanks so much for that. We really appreciate it.
We had a new one today here in chat, I thought.
Oh, we did. It was something...
Tyler Race.
Tyler Race. Going to take us on a mystical journey, hopefully, that Tyler Race. Speaking of which, let's talk about NXT. You know what I've noticed with NXT? I thought it was fine. Like, they're doing what they're doing.
Yes.
But the one thing about this is what I couldn't stand about Full Sail, and it's what I simply don't like about, it's like the one thing that I really don't like about NXT right now, because I like a lot of what they're doing. The crowd is doing the thing. There's a subset of the crowd that's doing the thing where they just want to be the show.
Yeah.
And so, like, I felt so bad for Tyler Bates' promo. And to be honest with you, it's on the wrestler sometimes. You need to captivate the people if you're going to expect them not to do that. But, people are just trying to take over and chanting, we want Waller, during segments that have nothing to do with Grayson Waller. And you could just tell it's the same people there every week. They're feeling comfortable. They're making it their own, and they're trying to take over the show. And I can't. That's why I wish they would go on the road. Go to 1,500, seat venues. So if you fill 500, big deal. It still looks good on TV.
Well, I mean, it probably would be a deal because they probably lose money all over the place.
They're $1 billion company. What does it matter if they lose a couple $1,000?
I don't know. I'm saying why they might not want to do it. No, I don't disagree with you, especially during the Tyler Bate thing. It's like he is making an effort to change his promo presentation. He's not as mumbly.
Mm-hmm.
He's really making an effort to project.
Yeah.
And whether you're into his character as it is now or not, this ain't main roster. It's developmental. People are going out there and trying things, learning things, trying to grow as performers.
Yeah.
And you go out there and you dump all over something like this. It just ain't cool.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty. Also, it's not without its humor, though, because number one, Tyler Bate dropped a turd of a promo. He really did. And then he punctuated by saying, dude, I'm sorry. I can't stand this version of Tyler Bate sucks. It does. It does. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. As a wrestler, he's phenomenal, but there's a lot of phenomenal wrestlers right now. You got to bring me something more than Zen dude wanting to take me on some mushroom mystical journey. I laugh so hard when he says, we're going to take you all on a mystical journey. And then the dude said, we don't want to. I know, it's fucked up. In that case, I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, the Zen guy just doesn't, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's boring. I don't get the point of it. It's just not, he's not interesting as a character.
Yeah, the concept I don't mind, but yeah, the implementation it's been somewhat lacking so far.
And maybe it's just maybe it is just like a version of him turned up to whatever 8. I don't know. I can't say he's turned up to 11.
It's got to be more Hugh Jackman in the fountain.
Yeah, it's got to be more out there, dude. But I think that's what like Schism's trying to do. And man, they had it's like they tried to rival the silence of the Bobby Fish promo by having Tyler Bate out there talking about a mystical journey.
And then Schism come out talking about.
And then Schism comes out and talks about whatever they're talking about, which is a bunch of nothing as well. And that crowd was just dead.
I told you last night they got to have Tyler Bate join Chase U as the philosophy professor. Yeah,
well, he might get over if he joins Chase U. People pop big for Chase U. They love Chase U. They're really over. No, I love them. But yeah, I don't know. We had Jinder trying to get that NXT title 10 years after, 11 years after he tried the first time.
Yeah, Braun worked him over pretty good last night, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It wasn't that competitive of a match.
No Dolph Ziggler segment here. But you know what, man? That sort of speaks to your ongoing thesis about Braun Breaker learning how to be a champion. They bring in, because Jinder made parallels. This happened before with Dolph Ziggler.
About a year
now
ago,
I'm going to be this guy. And then Braun Breaker was able to figure out, hey, I could be the former WWE champion.
Yep. He's learning how to be champion, learning how to be a wrestler. That's the story, yeah.
Do you think he's going to finally learn how to be champion before Stand and Deliver when he loses his championship title?
No, I mean, well, I don't know. I think don't know.
Maybe we're finding out now that he has learned how to be champion.
Maybe, yeah. This is kind of like the final hurdle he had to overcome.
Yeah, right.
A year ago, he lost to former WWE champion or world heavyweight champion in Dolph's case. This year, he didn't fall into the same trap, didn't lose. Now he is champion, only to face Carmelo and then lose championship to Carmelo and then get called to main roster. Or Braun could retain and they call up Carmelo. I don't know.
I'm telling you, man, I just think it'd be the most badass thing in the world, and it'd be great for NXT if Carmelo wins.
I agree,
and then he does double duty. He joins because there was some reported the other day saying that they want him for the Hurt Business, and how cool would that be? NXT champion while he's in the Hurt Business. That would be sick. That would be amazing. Cool. And then it's like a spotlight. Hey, this is the dude. This is the NXT guy. Go watch NXT. Oregon Grainer asked, did Tyler Bate react to Schism's music before the music played? No, he just stopped talking because he was drowning. He had to reiterate the mystical journey part a second time because they didn't kick in the Schism music. And then and then he just sort of put his mic down and he just looked like the most lost person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Anyway, I mean, it's wrestling. It happens.
Wins and learns, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We're all learning here.
So it kicked off with Trick Williams, probably the best promo in NXT, top five in WWE. Versus Ilya Dragunov. This is the kind of shit that I love to see because I think Trick Williams, I legitimately think this guy in 5 years could like be a solid main eventer. I really do. He's got the look. He's got the height. He's got the athleticism. He's got the promo skills. If you put him in there with a guy like Ilya Dragunov, he's going to learn how to tell those awesome stories in the ring. Also having him hang out with Carmelo, like a top class storyteller himself, is not a terrible idea. Trick Williams versus Ilya Dragunov. What's his face? JD McDonough showed up.
Yeah.
And he was on commentary here to just try to distract also Ilya, getting Ilya's head.
Yeah, didn't really work. Ilya still won. They gave this match plenty of time, though.
They did, yeah. This is the kind of stuff that Trick needs, man.
Yeah, a good competitive match against Ilya. Ilya ended up winning with a German suplex and then hitting the torpedo afterwards. JD wasn't much of a distraction. He was just kind of talking trash on commentary. You
like the little reference Booker T made to the Ariel Helwani thing?
Yeah. No, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all the references to the unbiased journalists. I'm tired of it.
You over it now? You're done with it?
I was over it. I never was into it.
You were never into it at all.
Mm-mm.
Don't think it's funny. Don't think it's cute. Don't think it's clever.
I just don't care.
Yeah. Dude's out there living his best life, and you're like, let him do that.
I just don't care.
Yeah. All right.
I just don't care about it.
Okay. All right.
How about you? Did you think it was funny?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Fucking Booker T. Anything he says is funny.
Well, I love Booker T.
And number two, I think it's hilarious. Keep on making your digs. I think all the hullabaloo over Ariel Helwani is hilarious and silly, and people get their panties up in a bunch, so to speak. So yeah, I think it was pretty funny.
All right, very well. Next, we had a Jinder Mahal promo. He says, "I could have confronted Braun my first night back, but I waited. In this business, timing is everything. The NXT title on Braun's shoulder is getting heavier. The boos from the crowd are getting louder, and that frenetic energy that Braun has is getting weaker. He's falling into the same trap as last year. Stand Deliver is in the distance, and look what happened. This year, I'm the one who messes up all the plans. Tonight, there's going to be a lot of shocked faces in the audience. Made a career out of shocking victories, and get ready for the next one."
After that, we had oh God, I've been trying to wrap my head around exactly who Fallon Henley reminds me of, and I nailed it this week. So to set this up, she calls up Brooks Jensen, right?
Yes.
Leaves a voicemail, and she's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. Call me back, please." Briggs, who has never anything better to do, steps in, says, "Hey, man, it's gonna take some time. Jensen knows you want to talk to him." And he's like, you and Jensen, you all I got, and I'm not getting in the middle of it anymore. And Fallon wonders why Kiana. She's like, I just don't know why she didn't tell me before that Zach was her brother. And he's like, no, stop. It was weird, but you were wrong. You ruined his big night. He was gonna get wet. Says she's like, yeah, he won't answer the phone. He's like, he was bricked up. He wanted to do it. And then he's like, it was you and your tag partner's big night. And then Fallon's like, yeah, you're right. I should apologize to Kiana. I'm going to go do it in person. And watching her go through all this reminded me of, and a million kids go through this, of my oldest step kid when she was like 13 years old. This is the kind of shit. And everybody grows up. You learn how to do relationships. But like at 13 or 14, and I'm like, this is a grown woman. She's a tag team champion, and she's acting like an absolute child.
I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Interesting. So after that, we're at the Performance Center earlier in the day. Mako Satomura is teaching the class. And she's like, I'm going to teach the class today my way. So Roxanne arrives a little bit late. She says, oh, is it okay if I join? And Mako's like, yeah, cool. So the class gets started. And then Mako is just putting them through all sorts of crazy drills. And people start dropping out. And like the final drill is 1,000 squats, which is a shit ton of squats.
That's a lot of squats, yeah.
That is a lot of squats. So Perez is the only one, along with Mako, to get through all 1,000 squats. And so Roxanne turns to Mako and says, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to train with you. She turns to leave, and Mako's like, where are you going? That's only the warm-up.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to the real training.
Yeah, she's like, what are you doing? Now we're going to actually do training. She's like, I can't feel my thighs.
I know.
And they're on fire.
Yeah.
It's a combination of both.
It's both.
I can't feel them,
I
and
can't
yet
feel just fire.
Yeah. Oh, man. So here we go. Time for a Tyler Bate promo. He says,
Mystical Journey, Steve.
Oh, man. He says, hello, big, strong boys and girls. I'm not a man of many words, but I couldn't help but sense some good vibes, so I came out to share some gratitude from me to thee. You wrote that he said me to thee.
That's what he said.
I know, it's so bad. The love I've received from most of you. It's the weird thing too is that like right when he started talking, there was a "We Want Waller" chant. Yeah. But if you look at the crowd, you couldn't see anybody doing that. Yeah. So it was like an off-camera subset of like, I don't know, 10 people that were trying to take over the entire thing. See how long that lasts. Anyways, he says, the love I've received from most of you has given me a passion. Thank you so much for your support. Be it against Waller and people like, yeah, Waller, or Axiom, or even when I came up short against Braun Breaker. But some things are meant to be. I believe in timing, so we're about to embark on a mystical journey together. We're about to embark on a mystical journey together. And then finally, Schism's music hits.
Finally, Schism's music hits.
Too late.
Yeah. So then Gacy comes out and says, we're preparing for the Grizzled Young Veterans match. We heard what you were saying, and we believe, and I believe that you and I are kindred spirits and forward thinkers. And Bate goes, I'll pass on whatever you're giving your mates. Mm-hmm. And then Ava says, we're not kindred spirits in all ways. And Gacy says, yeah, be careful, Tyler, who you surround yourself with. These people, the fans, won't help you. Schism is a true family. Groups like Chase U preach togetherness in the face of division. We gave Thea a look at what life would be like with us, and maybe you would like to heed our message as well. And then Ava says, you're all alone. You have no one. We are 4 roots, 1 tree. And then Chase U runs out the ring and chases off Schism because they have a match next against Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah, and they're still pissed off they stole Thea Hale at one point. Yeah. Put a bunch of stickers on her, which really just seems like a kind of a troll and it's like a college prank, and they're college. They should be cool with it, but whatever. Anyways, so Chase U set up for their finish. Gibson's able to break it up. Duke clotheslines Gibson out of the ring. Drake rolls him up, gets a 2 with that. Chase hits Drake with a leg sweep. Chase U does the Chase U stomps, tags in Duke. So then Ava walks near Thea Hale. Chase gets between them. Duke hits Drake with a big German nasty German suplex. That was a killer German suplex. Gibson tags in. Duke puts Drake on his shoulders. Gibson chops Duke in his throat. Grizzled Young Veterans hit Codebreaker to get the win because what's his face Chase was like out there the whole time. Yeah. So Duke is like he's pissed off obviously because like his partner just left him, and he's like he gets pissed. He's like you need to grow up. He talks to Thea, says you need to grow up, and you pointing at Andre Chase, you have to let her. Is this a university or a charity? And you have to appreciate just how seriously. I didn't think that Duke. Like originally when he came into Chase U, I was like, oh, he's going to take over and, he's going to take over this place. Now he's just all in, man. He just wants them all to be on the same page.
Invested. I know. He really is super invested. It's nice to see.
Yeah.
It's going to be a shame when it all falls apart because it will eventually.
Hey.
Earlier in the day, we're back in the locker room. Got Mr. Stone and Vaughn.
That's right. It's come Tuesday, so it's Von Wagner time. So where's Christmas Mousepad? He's not here. Hey.
You can be Vaughn. I'll be Mr. Stone. So Stone says, all right, we got to get this thing going. Have you made your decision yet, Vaughn?
Decision about what? What do you want from me? My deep, dark secrets? I'm here to kick ass and take names.
Oh, that's great. Real original, Vaughn. Haven't heard that one before. So then Tony D and Stax walks in. And Tony D says, last week, you stole our North American title shot, and that doesn't sit well with me or the underboss.
You talking to me? What?
Yeah, and Stax says, oh, funny guy. It's not going to be funny when the Don throws a beat down on you.
And then Vaughn asks Tony, hey, what do you want to match with me, Von Wagner?
And Tony's like, yeah, that sounds good. And Stone's like, no, we're not going to do it. Not going to do it, no.
So listening to Stone, he says, I respectfully decline.
He sounded totally defeated.
He did.
So then Stax says, like throughout this whole thing, Tony D'Angelo's talking shit about Vaughn.
Yeah.
And so Stax says, I knew Stone was your manager, but I didn't know he was your daddy too. Oof. I figured I should have brought a contract, but I didn't. Maybe I should have brought a permission slip.
Hey, you want to fight? You got one now.
And then Tony says, good. And Stone, so they leave. And Stone says, what are you doing, Vaughn? You're playing right into their hands.
Yeah, you shut up. That's what he said. Yeah, you shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, that was great. Golly, what a bunch of dullards. After that, we had Gulak and Dempsey in an interview. They're asked what was up with last week when they, walked off together. By the way, shout out, who was it? Was it White Brownie, Organ Grinder? Who was it that gave us the sexy saxophone music?
Oh yeah.
To that bit. So thanks to the Friendo that did that. So Gulak says, Hank Walker wasn't my friend. He was a guy who came and asked for help. He came to NXT, or I came to NXT, not to hand out participation trophies, but to find out the best of the best. And Walker isn't the best. He's a nice guy. To be successful around here, you can't be afraid to tear people limb from limb. And that doesn't describe Hank Walker, but it does describe Charlie Dempsey.
And then they walk off together. It was Zondo. Zondo did the...
Zondo. Thank you, Zondo. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Then we got this... you want to say it, Steve?
Soruka.
Thank you. Video package where she's on a skateboard. She's trying to do some skateboard trick.
Yeah.
And she says, the first time I try to do it, I sucked. And then I keep at it and keep trying, and eventually I do it. And then they show her do it like at least half a dozen times.
Yeah, must be nice.
I handstand the skateboard and flip the skateboard around as she dismounts and then land on it.
So this is what I took away from Soruka.
Yeah.
I'll look at the big stretch back there. So she was talking in this promo about, I'll get on TikTok and I'll see some sort of athletic challenge and I'll try and I'll spend hours all day trying it until I do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God damn, what a waste of time. Like, aren't you supposed to be at the performance center training or learning matches or studying and stuff? You have all the time in the world to just sit there and get on TikTok and find some jackass challenge for you to do, and then you just spend all day doing it. She comes home and her roommate's like, "Hey, what did you do today?" Spent all day doing a TikTok challenge. What about you? I worked. I was at my job.
If she's getting paid to go and try to do TikTok challenges,
you think that's what they pay him at the performance center? No,
I mean, she's got that developmental contract, so it's okay, you got to show up for performance center 2 hours for a couple classes, and then you're
good to go. Yeah, hey, that's the life right there, right?
That's what I'm saying.
That's the life, absolutely. I don't know if it's like that though. Evidently.
Yeah, I don't know how many hours, on a, say on a Thursday, how many hours they're supposed to spend there.
Yeah.
Can you go in there, go to a class, get your workout in, and then you're free?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, the time I went there,
8 hours there a day. I don't know.
I should have asked some people. There was a lot of people at the gym just randomly when I was there. And then there was a bunch of people in the rings going over matches and stuff, but that's not canon.
Yeah.
But I feel in canon they're still in there practicing. Is
as we saw with Roxanne and Mako. Yeah.
With Mako, why wasn't Sol Ruka? She was like, "Hey Mako, I can either study with you like a true legend, the final boss, or I'm gonna go try to do this handstand on a skateboard."
Maybe Sol Ruka is like Hangman Page. I don't need anybody's advice.
That could be. I mean, hey, look, she's terrific. We see how this pans out. So what do I know? I'm just a piece of shit.
This is the second week they've run a video package like this for her, and when she does these crazy things, holy shit, that's incredible.
It is very holy shit.
Her presence in these video packages comes off as so genuine.
Yeah, I know.
Really, if she does cool shit and just comes off as a totally genuine person, she's going to get massively over.
Yeah, no, I'm just clowning around. She is awesome, and the video package is really good, but that was kind of a takeaway. I'm like, man, who has all the time in the world just to fuck around like that? That must be nice. That's kind of cool. I'm envious. I would do the same thing. I see a cool trick in Rocket League. Can I just sit here for 8 hours, play Rocket League?
Well, unlike Sol Ruka, you'd probably never be able to do it, though.
Oh, but you know what? Maybe be encouraging for once, asshole.
You can do it, Steve. I believe.
Thanks. That's all I want to hear from you.
Anyway. After that, we got JC James versus Indy Hartwell. JC doesn't win here because Gigi Dolan interferes. Attacks her, tries to boot her head against the barricade.
Well, JC does get the win.
Well, not a pin, though.
Right, yeah, but Jay's there's the win. You got the DQ win. What if they're still in cahoots and they're gonna give each other DQ wins just to get them up in the NXT rankings?
Oh, that'd be something else. NXT rankings. They end up just brawling to the back. They kept this match relatively short before the Gigi ran in.
Yeah.
But then there's one point where JC was looking for snake eyes or Indy was looking for Snake Eyes, and JC escapes, and then ends up stomping her in the face in the corner. So I'm guessing JC's face stomp is going to be a regular part of her arsenal of moves from now on. After
seeing what it did to friggin' Gigi, I'm afraid for the rest of the locker room. Golly. To me, just people just walking in with big old scrapes on their faces. Anyways, after that, Mako's training session continues. Perez is like, why do you still want to train? This is exhausting. And Mako's like, less talk. We're training. It's like, all right. So eventually, Perez knocks Mako back doing a shoulder tackle. And then
not off her feet, just like knocks her off her base a little bit. So Mako takes a step or two back. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, all right, we're calling it a day. Done. Zoe Stark had an interview after that, and I really appreciate how much, like, this is a classic case of you make somebody a bad guy and they can really, take a bite into the character, because her interview skills are so much more interesting now than they were when she was just a generic good guy. She says she's asked about Sol Ruka, and she's like, I don't give a damn about what Sol wants. If she loves the ocean so much, she can stay in the ocean. She could be Aquaman. She says, I beat her. Why does Mako get a title match? She says, because Roxanne is such a fangirl. And then Mackenzie says, well, Mako's a legend. And so he says, that's my Mitch. All the women in the back are kissing her ass. She says, I can tell you this, if Mako stands in the ring with me, I'll show her who the final boss is. Well, she gets her wish because that's happening next week.
Next week, yep. Then we had the NXT Tag Champs Gallus. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. I listened. It was much more clear this week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's just not. Isn't it crazy how, like, the smallest thing
I know,
makes the biggest difference.
It really does. This lacks the enthusiasm. Yeah.
Oh.
This isn't the same.
I know.
Anyways, this was a fun match. I really wish they would do more with Blade and Nofe, because they're so much fun in the ring. That top rope elbow that Nofe hit on Mark Coffey. Holy shit.
Man, we've been saying this for like a solid year now. They need to run with these guys. Either send them to Maine or give them the titles, but it's time.
I know. Gallus ended up winning here with their power slam / running forearm finisher. And then a couple of dudes bring a cake down to rings. During the match, a couple of dudes bring a cake down to ringside. It says happy anniversary on it. So after the match, those two dudes get in the ring. And they say, we're presenting this cake on Pretty Deadly's behalf in honor of Gallus losing the NXT UK tag titles to Pretty Deadly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Gallus doesn't take fondly of this. They beat the heck out of these two dudes, posed the titles, then Pretty Deadly hit the ring, and then they beat the hell out of Gallus with some chairs, and then throw Mark and Wolfgang on the ring steps a bunch, and then hit spilled milk on Wolfgang on the ring steps.
Yeah, man. Yeah. After that, we had a Dabba-Kato promo where he doesn't really explain himself all that well. He says,
But he was convincing saying it.
No, it was a good promo. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're totally right. He says, I can feel Apollo's anger. It shows like a shot of Apollo writing in his journal, and he throws it down from last week. He says, Cruz looked in the future so much he forgot about his own past. He says, for every success Cruz had, I was there. But then he came to NXT alone. And then Cruz thought, oh, like good old times, I came to help. No, I came to hurt. Cruz might have been the one who brought me into this world, but I'm the one that's going to take him out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a really tight close-up on him, too.
So I guess, it was cool. It was really well done. Yeah. I guess the idea is maybe he ditched me, and then like in doing so, I was in catering the whole time.
Yeah. Yes. Main roster purgatory, essentially.
He's like, I gained 15 pounds because of you, because I was just in catering the whole time, and they've got delectable delights there.
Oh, the Reese's pie. So good.
There's so much Reese's pie. One day I ate an entire pie on my own.
Oh, my gosh.
And a Moss shamed me, and I was like, it's easier for you to say, Moss, you're on TV. You got a Brock Lesnar match.
Oh, gosh. So next we had Stevie Turner promo.
Wow.
So she has something called the Stevie Randomizer, where like she presses a button, it goes through a bunch of competitors, and it stops the one. And I guess she has to talk about them.
This poor girl.
So yeah, it stops on Lyra Valkyria. So she says Lyra is a woman of mystery. It goes into like the inspiration for her gimmick. And then she takes some question again. Talk more about Lyra. Says we're gonna have to cross paths but she's no match for my forward thinking. Far and away, Stevie Turner has the worst gimmick in NXT now, and maybe in the entirety of NXT 2.0.
Can you name anybody in professional wrestling that has a worse gimmick than this?
I mean, there's a lot of vocational gimmicks that were really bad.
I'm not talking about historically, because historically there's a lot of bad ones.
Yeah.
But right now in pro wrestling, I'm not saying this is definitely, but I'm just asking that question. I'm curious what people in chat think. YouTube, if you're watching this, let us know in the chat, or drop us a comment if you're watching this on demand. Corbin doesn't have a gimmick. Biff Meister says Corbin didn't have a gimmick.
Yeah, Corbin is
just dude.
Is in between gimmicks right now.
Yeah.
I can't think of a worse gimmick.
I wouldn't even say Leva Bates. I mean, she's a librarian, but they don't really do anything with it.
Yeah, she's hardly on TV.
She's not forced into being in a library, from what I can tell, anyways. And
at least not since the early days of AEW. No,
this is so bad because it's really you know how often we talk about, oh, they came off as so genuine that you can connect with the crowd. This is the exact opposite of that. I feel so bad for her. I'd feel really doubly so if this was her idea.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
not working.
It's not.
Eric Rowan and a spider. I kind of like the spider thing, I'll be honest with you.
John the Drummer says Duke Hudson's old poker guy gimmick was bad. It wasn't this bad.
It wasn't as bad as this?
No.
It wasn't as bad as this. It really wasn't.
No. No.
Yeah, and this is true too. Assassin here says if she actually streamed, it probably wouldn't be as bad. Yeah. You're right. If this was presented as, because I've seen mini docs on esports players, and some of it's pretty interesting stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If it was legit, if there was anything legit about it, but
it wouldn't feel so forced. I know.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It is. Then we got Tony D'Angelo versus Von Wagner. Von Wagner on quite the losing streak, including taking this L to Tony D'Angelo. So after Tony hits a German suplex, spine buster, then his finisher to get the win, Von starts arguing with Stone ringside, and then Tony has an interview.
Oh, man.
Best winded interview in the business, Tony D'Angelo.
For some reason, it's my favorite thing in wrestling, and that doesn't happen very often, is anytime they interview somebody right after their match, and they're just beyond winded. Some people, they've done this with Bianca. Bianca's stamina is so incredible that you can't tell. Sometimes she's a little bit. But with Tony, he's so winded.
I know.
All right. Now I want to talk about Stacks and loyalty, Gabogu. He's like, last week he had a chance to take a North American title shot or have my back. Oh, God. And he chose family, Gabogu. Stacks, you get it. But you know who doesn't get it? Dijak. We've been at this for a couple months now. Oh, God. My ribs are burning. It's time this comes to an end. I'm challenging you to a jailhouse street fight. Jailhouse street fight. Gabagool. When it's all said and done, I'm going to put Dijak solitary confinement. Oh, God. I need some oxygen over here, Gabagool. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
After that, Nikita Lyons. Interview.
Wait a second. Wait. So what's the jailhouse street fight? We got to talk about that.
It's just normal street fight, Steve.
Come on, there's got to be something different about it. It's in a jailhouse.
Well, I guess there got to be some bars involved then, yeah?
That's what I'm thinking. They going to wear some nails suits?
No, it'd be interesting if they went to an actual jail and they actually had the match in a 10x10 cell.
Have you seen the fighting in a car? It's like wrestling in a car. It's a new thing. It's I think they're trying to be the new slap fighting, but it's a little less gross. It's we'll watch it on next week, I guess, Smash Zone.
Yeah.
I'll send you a clip. It's hilarious. It's two people sit down in a car. They got cameras on all angles, and then they do their seatbelts, and then they the bell rings and it's wah! And then they either try to unlock themselves so they have maximum, or they just get right into it and then do it after they've but yeah, it's they're fighting, they're wrestling in a car.
Interesting.
It's nuts. I think you'll get a kick out of it, man.
Interesting. Well, I guess we can give it a try. Then we had Nikita Lyons' interview. She says she had successful surgery. She's supposed to be out 11 to 12 months, but she's hoping to be back in less than a year. She's asked about the attack. She says, I wish I could say more. I was clipped from behind. Then Tiffany Stratton steps in and asks why everyone's talking about Nikita Lyons, and they should be talking about her. And Lyons says, well, you're sounding pretty sus. And Tiffany's like, if it was me, you'd be out a lot longer than a year. You'd be out indefinitely.
Damn. Yeah, and then we had Ivy, Nile, and Tatum in the Diamond Mine gym. And Tatum's like, hey, good luck on your match. And Ivy's like, wait, what do you mean? Aren't you coming with me? And she's like, is Isla getting in your head? She's like, come on, you're my tag partner. We're a team. And Tatum says, yeah, fine, okay. She's like, but if she becomes another water bottle and starts talking to me, I mean, I'm not going to be happy.
Do you see people in the comments were saying there was a speaker?
It didn't seem obvious at the time.
Why are people putting water bottles on speakers? Those are electronic.
If that's true. And where's the supernatural aspect of that?
And also, it didn't sound like it was coming through the speaker.
Yeah, it'd be making like a speaker noise. We all know what a speaker noise is. Hold on a second. Now I'm going to do some actual research into this.
Yeah, do some investigating. Next, we're in the trainer's room. Trick's in there. Mello walks in. He says, Trick, you did your thing against Ilya. I'm proud of you. Mello is talking about how he's going to keep his eye on the main event because he wants to know whether Braun or Jinder is going to walk out as champ. And so then Tyler Bate steps in and says, Trick, you gave Ilya a serious fight. It's tough dealing with loss. There are going to be many peaks and valleys. And he talks about trees and storms and stuff. Try to be very inspirational.
Yeah, right.
And Mello says, hey, Tyler, I appreciate you know who you are, but I know who I am, and I am him. I'm happy that your journey has nothing to do with the NXT title picture because that's all me, respectfully.
Yeah.
And then he and Trick leave, but then we're going to get Mello versus Tyler Bate next week, which should be phenomenal.
Oh, that's going to be a great match. That's going to be absolutely outstanding. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
Tyler Bates really about to take a big L, too.
Yeah, I know. Then we got Alba Fire versus Ivy Nile. Alba gets the win here because Isla gets on the apron. Yeah, so Ivy locks on the Dragon Sleeper. Isla gets on the apron on one side, and then Tatum Paxley gets on the apron on the other side. So then Alba pushes Ivy while still in Dragon Sleeper towards Tatum, knocks Tatum off the apron. So Ivy lets go to check on Tatum, and then Alba hits a super kick, gory bomb to get the win.
Yeah. And Ivy was like,
I still don't know why Ivy Nile's taking a bunch of L's.
Yeah, that is a good question. I don't know. Because, man, everything about her is pretty great. Like, I like that she just does seem, as we've said before, genuine, Not a lot of nonsense there, no gimmick. It's just she's got a great look to her. She's a badass in the ring. So much of what she does really, really works well. I don't know.
Then we got a Braun Breaker video package that was pretty quick. And then we're in Kiana James' office. And then Fallon arrives. And she says, I know I ruined your Valentine's Day date. I was wrong about you and Zach. And I'm sure you had your reasons. But why didn't you tell me that Zach was your brother? And Kiana says, I didn't say anything because I wanted you to trust me. And look how that turned out. And Fallon says, I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. I want to get past this so we can trust each other, so we can defend our tag titles. And Kiana says, hey, we're all human. Everybody makes mistakes. Jealousy is a human emotion. I get it. But Brooks and I are spoken for. And Fallon goes, no, I'm happy for you. And Brooks, don't you believe me? And Kiana says, I believe you're telling the truth as long as you believe me and that you believe that I have Brooks' best interests at heart. This team ain't going to last.
No, because Fallon Henley's kind of a terrible person in character. Like that shit's insufferable. And honestly, like Brooks and Jensen should totally disassociate from her.
They should go find a new empty bar to drink at.
But that's the thing, is that they probably get hooked up with free booze. And I think like conspiracy theory time, Briggs is behind keeping her around because he loves to drink.
Yeah.
He's like, no, man, we're getting this free beer, Jensen. You gotta, forgive her because we got that empty bar, man. I've been 86 from every bar in town. They don't let me drink as much as I want to drink.
Except here. There's no one else to serve booze to.
Except here. I'm keeping this bar in business, man.
Single-handedly, yeah.
Single-handedly.
His entire paycheck going to Fallon's bar.
Yeah, man. I live in a tent. behind the bar.
He lives in his car in the Performance Center parking lot.
Right. I got problems, man.
Then we got a Wesley interview. Wesley is so good at these interviews. Gosh darn it. Talk about someone who comes off as 1,000% genuine.
Yeah, he's super genuine.
So he's talking about Open Challenge last week. He says, I'd love to make it to LA as NA champ, but I can't look to the horizon too much because then I forget what's right in front of me. I know people at WWE Universe really love this Open Challenge concept just as much as I do. I know there are plenty of people in the back who want another shot at it. So I'm going to do it again. I feel like me in the middle of the ring at 8 p.m. Cena's going to step up. Sounds perfect. Mackenzie's like, Open Challenge again? Doesn't that put you at a disadvantage? And then Wes just says, kind of shrugs and just goes, it's just who I am. And walks off.
All right, hold on. I'm almost at the bit here.
All right. While you do that, I noticed that Bree Mode gifted a bunch of subs. So thank you very much, Bree. If you got a sub from Bree, give Bree your thanks.
Okay, so yeah, I mean it is pretty clearly it is a speaker. What did we think it was in the first place?
I thought it was just like a stool or something.
Right, because here's the thing, it's very darkly lit.
Yeah, it is.
It's very darkly lit. But
and there's a bottle of water. I was like, who would put a bottle of water on a speaker?
Well, the bigger question is, why would there just be some random ass giant speaker sitting there? Like these days, people have like little Bluetooth speakers. This is just a massive cabinet speaker.
And it doesn't sound like Isla's voice is coming through the speaker at all.
Right. Like that takes away from so much of the supernatural aspect of it when she's simply using her Bluetooth.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we got our main event, Jinder taking on Braun. As mentioned earlier, Jinder got some of his stuff in, but man, Braun just kind of dominated most of the bout. Gets the win after escaping a Colossus, hits the spear. And then as soon as the match was over, they kind of fumbled this finish a little bit. So there's someone who appears on the platform, they have that's up by the stands, but you only get it over the shoulder. So at first, it's not really clear who it is.
Yeah.
Because the shot's, it's a far shot, and it's really quick. And by the time you register, oh, that's Carmelo, they go to, it's like they're making fun of that Tubi Super Bowl commercial, because it goes to like Peacock and like some stuff shows up.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then they go to the production truck and Waller's in there. And he declares himself, he says, oh, Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania, well, I'm Mr. Stand Deliver. No one's going to hold me back. And how about Shawn Michaels, you appear on the episode of The Waller Effect at Roadblock, and we can talk about all this.
So either Waller is going to eat a super kick, or Waller most likely is going to hit. I don't know. I mean, the thing about his finish is that it's not like the thing you can do out of nowhere.
No.
So I think, so which do you think is going to happen? Is Waller going to attack Shawn, or is Shawn going to attack Waller, physically speaking?
I'd guess Waller is going to attack Shawn. Maybe Waller gives Shawn the super kick.
That could. Oh, hey, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Everybody just starts recreating.
And then at Stand and Deliver, HBK says, "Oh, you want to be Mr. Stand Deliver? Then beat my proxy, whoever that is, Dragon Lee, whoever it is."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I wonder who it would be.
I don't know.
Yeah, Dragon Lee. It's like there's not a lot of. I like who said this. A clown here says Wesley's gonna fight Dragon Lee with the Open Challenge for the North American title. That sounds, unless of course it's Dragon X.
Yeah,
and it's like DX with the full DX branding. Dragon Lee.
Lowercase Rocket says Jay White. Jay White should not set foot in NXT.
Oh my God, no! Of course not. Yeah, this is the right one. El Presidente says Lord Tensai.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good. Oh, that'd be fun. Wellcar here says, what'd be interesting is Shawn comes out first, Waller comes in, tries to sneak his finisher, but then eats a sweet chin music.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Let's go ahead and answer some questions. We got some questions here on the community tab. If you're a channel member, you get your questions guaranteed read on the show.
Guaranteed.
We also have a thread on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Let's see here. First up is JD's Ultra says, do you feel like WWE has fumbled Ronda Rousey's most recent run as women's champion? Sometimes it just feels like Ronda don't want to be there.
Yeah, that's the issue. And it's really compounded when she's supposed to be a face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If she's a heel, doesn't want to be there, that's fine.
And I don't know how much of that is on her, how much of that is on WWE. I don't know. It just seems like she don't want to be there.
Yeah. David Matushek asks, if you were booking Braun Breaker, what cosmetic changes would you make? Chainmail.
Yeah. How could
more
you do
chainmail, more leather
chain
jacket
mail?
like his dad?
I would say like a chainmail suit. Because like you need to take it to the next level.
He wrestles in a chainmail singlet.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But like nothing underneath.
Of course.
Yeah. So you can see everything. Jonathan Vieira here says WWE hired Freddie Prinze Jr. back in the day to help with writing, promos, and character acting for wrestlers. What actor or actress that isn't an A-list celebrity could help AEW hire to help
Freddie
out?
Prinze Jr.
Yeah, he was there at AEW not long ago, so you could totally hire Freddie.
But he's been trying to start his own wrestling company.
Jamie Kennedy. What?
Okay.
Matthew Lillard. I don't know. I'm just thinking of contemporaries of Freddie Prinze Jr.
Who are some actors that hosted Raw?
Look
back
at
in
me like I'm an asshole for what do you have something
like
against Jamie Kennedy?
Jamie Kennedy hasn't been on TV in like 15 years.
Had Fred? Well, I guess he had. Freddie Prinze Jr. had been like low budget comedies and Scooby Doo movies, huh?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of celebrities.
Mr. Dope says Medea, but I don't know if he knows that Medea is a character, not an actual person. About to blow your mind, Mr. Dope, when you find out the truth about Medea.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of celebrities who are also wrestling fans.
Scott Conn.
All right.
He was in that movie. He was in the David Arquette.
Ready to Rumble. David Arquette. Yeah, David Arquette.
Hire David Arquette.
Yeah, David Arquette.
It'd be crazy. It'd be awesome. Kiddo Hudson says, been a watcher for a while. I missed some episodes when you guys talk about NXT, so can you tell me where the Sol Ruca bit came from? It's really simple. Sol Ruca just sounds like a name from like a Godfather type movie that Al Pacino would say.
Yeah.
Sol Ruca.
Yeah.
Sol Ruca sleeps with the fishes. She surfs with the fishes.
There you go. Shavon here says, if NXT had their own Hall of Fame separate from WWE, what names would make up the first class of inductees? It's 2 men, 2 women, 2 tag teams or factions, and then 1 just kind of wild card.
God, wait, what is it? I'm sorry, I totally zoned out.
A separate NXT Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. Right on.
So,
Richie Steamboat.
All right.
The Ascension for a tag team.
Yeah. They were dominant in NXT.
They were dominant, dude.
Dominant.
They were. Corey Graves.
Okay.
He was gonna be huge there. I mean, it'd be like Seth Rollins and Big E, I think, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably start with Seth and Big E.
Yeah. I mean, at some point you got to go Nakamura,
Joe,
Finn, and Joe. Those are the 3 biggest names. And then Champ DIY would have to be in there. Asuka would be first. Asuka would be probably number 1.
Paige probably as well.
Paige is a good one, yeah. Sami Zayn probably.
Sami Zayn, yeah.
Not Tango says, what are the chances we see the Index reunion after Mania? It's got to be high.
She wore the indie wrestling jacket last night.
There you go. It's got to be high.
Yeah. Jack Napier.
Axis Chemicals.
Thank you. Do you find it strange WWE has not announced any inductees for the Hall of Fame yet?
No. Remember that one year that Andrew Zarian said Sid was going to go in? We got excited, and then Sid didn't go in.
Oh, so, I mean, he better go in soon.
He better go in soon. Coming after you, Andrew Zarian. Getting our hopes up like that.
I know.
Andrew Smith says, will the Apollo Crews storyline ever be resolved, or will it be dropped with no ending? I think with the vision of Crews holding the championship, they booked themselves into a corner they would rather simply drop than try to fix. He literally dropped his journal. The journal was bunk.
He threw it.
In anger, and because he realized that his visions, he just got really high or something. You know, Tyler Bate had him doing some fucking mushrooms or something.
Oh, maybe he was he just wasn't sleeping well since going back to NXT and has a sleep deprivation.
Oh, that could be as well, yeah. He's like, man, I really thought I could see the future. It was all lies.
Turned out I was only getting an hour and a half of sleep every night.
That mystical journey was absolute bullshit.
There you go. Alex Washington asks, what do you think the ceiling for Bob Roode is and if he comes back under Triple H in creative? Maybe mid-card champ, unfortunately. Maybe.
Hey, these days a mid-card champion is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
U.S. champ or IC champ, that's a big deal right now.
You know, I remember Bob Roode when he was NXT champ. Was like, wow, there's a lot of potential in this guy.
Yeah, I don't know that ever really was. All he really wanted to do was fill the seats with, like, you know, he just wanted to
one time.
Dude, he wanted to increase the price of tickets for free tickets.
Well, I mean, that's good business.
That's all.
They had a regular crowd that goes there. I think that's an exception to people will pay for something they're used to getting for free.
Yeah.
You take free tickets, charge $15.
He seems so tired when we met him that one time.
He was so good in NXT though. Gosh, he was good.
He was good. He was good in NXT. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. He was done a complete disservice. He could have been a decent sized star on main roster.
Yeah. If his gimmick on main roster wasn't theme song. I
just wonder if he showed up and, you know, he had spent so much time in TNA and he was already old by the time he got there. But another couple of years or a year in NXT, he gets to main roster. He's like, 43. And you know how it is at 43. You're just tired all the time. Mm-hmm. So
Tell me about it.
He got to main roster. You know, they caught him sleeping and catering. He's like, I can't eat this Reese's pie. Look, this dude's never touched a Reese's pie in his life. Not a chance.
He's not going to start when he's 43 because it's just going to go right on his midsection.
So he's just like knocked out. They're like, Bob, you're supposed to be up for your match. What?
I'm getting my nap in.
I had to get my glorious nap in.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Raw did 2 million and a 0.56.
Good numbers.
Damn.
Good numbers.
That is good. Yeah, Vince, he's not going to come back and fuck with that, dude.
No.
God damn it! I can break it to 2.5.
Alex Foster here asks, is there any wrestler that you could think would actually work better under the cartoony aspects of 2.0? And Alex says, the finest, Kona Reeves.
Oh, whatever happened to Kona Reeves?
They let him go.
Well, yeah, I know, but why didn't Tony Khan pick him up? He picked up everybody else.
I know. There's someone that. Bodie Hayward just showed up on Darker Elevation. Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Why can't Kona Reeves get picked up? Finest.
Where's Kona Reeves?
I felt like they were onto something with Kona Reeves but they should have done it as like full on 80s action movie villain.
You know what they're doing with Kona Reeves with that shit? Javi got it.
Yeah,
they're doing the same thing basically with Javi.
Yeah,
and he's killing it. There's definite similarities there.
Yeah.
Kona Reeves, whatever happened to that guy? Let's see.
I don't know. The finest.
The finest. Yeah, no info on Kona Reeves here. Boy, it's been since August of 2021 since he was released. That's crazy.
Year and a half ago. Wow.
Javi's great. I love Big Body Javi didn't show up this week, did he? What a bummer. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Tomorrow we're going to check out this. We're gonna review the sure to be stellar episode of AEW Dynamite tonight. I hope it's great. I hope they kill it.
I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope it advances some story.
Evil Uno is totally going to beat John Moxley. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.